Now I've got Imbowi saying economic integration is the solution. Such is difficult but attains desirable results in the long run. This is why I fully support the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. It's sad that Africa intra-trade is not even up to 20%, as opposed to about 60% external trade. Can you imagine, Doc? Did you hear that?
Yes.
That is really pathetic, isn't it?
It is pathetic. Like I said, the amount of trade volume, inter-African trade volume, is very minimal. We trade more with the West and Asia than we trade among ourselves. And that is the pathetic bit. But you have to also look at the colonial legacy as well. The colonial economic project was not based on benefiting Africa. The project was not developmental in scope or in nature or in intention. It was extractive by intention, by design. That is why if you look at the railways, the infrastructure that links African countries, there was no infrastructure that linked African cities at that time, inter-African cities that were built by the colonialists. They were mostly snaking from the hinterland to the coast. That is why if you look at most African capital cities are in the coast, like the Freetown, the Lagos, the Banjul, the Dakar, because the colonial project was very extractive. The idea was to remove people, labor and commodities from the hinterland to the coast to be exported to Europe. That is why they did not build infrastructure that connect African cities. Infrastructure that can link Mombasa and Banjul, Mombasa and Dakar, Dakar and Lagos, Lagos and Guinea-Conakry. That is not happening. That is why today it is easy for me to travel, Oscar, from Banjul to London within 5 hours. But it can take me a whole day for me to travel from Banjul to Lagos, just right beside me. In fact, it is almost impossible, Oscar, for me to travel from Banjul to Bissau. I might have to even come to Europe first, to Portugal, and transit and go back to Bissau. That is the unfortunate circumstance that we are living in, Oscar, in the African continent. Sometimes you want to go to South Africa from Banjul, you have to go all the way to Belgium and come back again to the African continent. Even inter-African travel is a nightmare, not only by road, but even by air. That is the problem. And therefore, for trade to flourish, the right infrastructure must be there. And there is a huge infrastructure deficit in the African continent. Until and unless we solve that deficit, until and unless we understand that problem, those deep-rooted problems, and start to trade more with each other, and start to buy goods and services more from each other, Africa has a market to create and compete with China. China's population, obviously, is 1.3 billion, I think, or something like that. India is almost a billion, almost a billion. You take the whole of EU, it's not up to a billion. Look at Africa, we're almost a billion. By now, I think we've reached a billion. That's a huge market. Not only, I'm not even counting the Maghreb countries, I'm counting only sub-Saharan Africa. That's a huge market, Oscar. If we are able to produce all the goods and services we need for ourselves in the African continent, we will flourish and compete in good terms, in fair terms, with the rest of the world. And we have the resources, we have the manpower, agriculture can flourish in Africa. We've even not tapped the full potential of agriculture in that continent. We have enough arable land that is untapped. We have a very young population, so the labor force is there. It's just to build their capacity. Tourism can thrive. You go to Serengeti, you go to the game parks, you go to Banjul, beautiful cities, Namibia, from Namibia to Victoria Falls, you name it. Everything is there, Oscar. Everything. Imagine we're able to invest in our agro industry with its value chain, Oscar, making sure that even look at the livestock. We don't even produce our own yogurt in most cases. Or cheese. Goat cheese is the most expensive cheese in the world. I go to a Banjul supermarket, I see goat cheese, just a slice, they charge $30. We can't even produce goat cheese, and we have the right temperature to be able to grow and rear goats in that country. So there's so much untapped potential, and we need the right leadership to understand these things.